there, it's your host Jay, and on this episode of the Over Manga Cast, we revisit an old tried and true favorite, Golden Kamuy. On this episode, we read chapters 50 through 69. Nice. A word of warning, this episode gets a little explicit at points, so if that's something you're keeping an eye out for, you have been warned. Now let's jump into it! Golden Kamuy!
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Over Manga Cast. My name is Sam, and as always here at the top of the show we talk about our familiarity with the franchise that we read this week. As always, I want to read more Golden Kamuy. I am a very busy man and do not have time to, so I'm happy that we have consumed more of it. Jacob, how about you?
Honestly, Golden Kamuy is one of the ones that I kind of like to wait for when we do the podcast. It's sort of the perfect time to catch up on it. Just because the list is so long, I haven't read anything on my own since.
You also said you watched a bit of the anime.
Oh, that's right. I did watch a bit of the anime. That was a while ago now. I almost forgot about it. Yeah. Hot take. I actually think the anime is pretty good. At least the episode and a half that I saw. Yeah, the CG bear looks really, really out of place, but it's actually a really good CG bear, and the rest of the animation is really good too. It's just they don't look good together, and they put it in all of the trailers, so
that'll do it. Jay, how about you?
Sure. So inadvertently, I ended up reading ahead. So that's how much I loved it. I couldn't put it down.
Jay having the deja vu moment of, are we reading the right section? I recognize all this.
And you'll see everyone else's reaction to the events preceding them was, no, we definitely didn't read this. I would have remembered.
And Matt.
Yeah, I have not actually read any more Golden Kamuy since our last time. I have, however, read another work by Satoru Noda. I have been reading Dogs Red, which I have been loving because it is everything about Golden Kamuy I like, and it's about ice hockey.
Eat.
All right.
Yeah.
that sounds fun.
It is very fun. They have a coach that is essentially the drunk hunter from Golden Kamuy, except he's the coach of a hockey team and forces
vibes. Yeah.
And forces the players to work their asses off, and then when they finally get water, he feeds them like a baby bird.
What? Yeah.
It's great.
But
more importantly, the one thing why we're reading Golden Kamuy is, I'm sure our listeners know, the live-action movie recently came out. I'm excited for when we eventually watch for No Read November, because just letting you in now, that's on the list. We are watching the Golden Kamuy movie.
Damn right it is. So with that in mind, we launch right into our reading, where Tanigaki is recovering after the shenanigans of last time, resolving to stay with the Ainu for a bit, and he is wearing their clothes because all of his were destroyed. He's totally not just acclimating and deciding to stay here away from all of this conflict and murder and chaos.
Turns kind of it here. It's a good time to lay low and, chill out a bit.
Mm-hmm.
This
Not
chapter
being shot at by
Yeah.
crazy people.
Yeah. Imagine that.
This chapter has one of my favorite background gags, where a little boy is playing a mouth harp, but he's not just playing it; he's full on shredding it, like he's playing Guitar Hero.
He's 100% in that zone of when little kids feel like they're really jamming out, shredding it, and the adults are ignoring them, you're being too much, little kid.
Yeah,
That's that vibe.
This little boy is playing Through the Fire and Flames on his mouth harp to the point that his mouth is bleeding by the end when he's finally done. Just, yeah,
his mouth looks like it's been through the fire and the flames.
And when everybody ignores him, he goes and cries to his mom. Oh, poor kid.
You did great, kid. You did great.
We also learn in this chapter that the guy who got his ear taken off is talking to it now. That comes up a few times.
He's doing great. Don't worry about him.
Everybody in that division is not doing well mentally.
Well,
war torn. Quite literally. They've seen some shit.
Oh yeah.
The problem is most of their problems aren't from the war. Like,
Yeah,
No, they were corrupt individuals going into the war, and they even became more corrupt coming out of it.
Yeah, it's a bunch of crazy people who were at least semi well adjusted, and then they experienced the Russo-Japanese War, and now they're like the worst versions of themselves.
to the point that they want to go back to war permanently. Like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part that I don't grasp, because like half on the one side, they're just like, I want to bring prosperity to Japan, or start my own fiefdom is more like it. Start my own fiefdom, enrich the communities. I could get the communities to like buy into that, to my master plans.
no,
And it's like,
they're just Metal Gear Solid. They want to create a country for soldiers. Like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they try to sell
They
it.
want their outer heaven.
Yeah, and the reason for it is because it's the one thing that they were good at. It's the one thing that made sense. Like, it was horrible, but they felt in control of the situation because it was their skill set. And now in a time of peace, there isn't a need for soldiers, so what do the soldiers do? Traditionally and historically, probably turn to banditry. It was really common, though fortunately to a large extent that trend was actually tapering off during this time period specifically.
but like we find out, Golden Kamuy is a Western, so
So what's a Western without bandits?
This is the last hurrah of this sort of situation where the soldiers come back from war, have nothing to do, so they turn to banditry. And that's the reason why everyone's so extreme, why it's all the strongest people, and why they have such outlandish personalities, because the only people still doing it are the ones who literally cannot do anything else.
And with that in mind, our group is setting out on their path to Abashiri prison, except we actually have to make a stopover. We need to get some supplies so we can perform this incredible reverse prison break. We're going to stop in a town and acquire some weapons. But before we do that, we need to...
we need to have a Detective Conan opening is essentially what happens. Like,
a Detective Conan opening into Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, which will devolve into Scooby-Doo.
That is the most accurate description of the situation I've ever heard.
Yes.
That's literally what happens, and I love it.
Yeah, it's a very striking end of the chapter where, on a dark and stormy night, a wandering couple arrives at a hotel where the lovely owner of the facility leads them to their room, and then
Norman Bates,
yeah, yep,
or Norma, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
it's unclear.
It is.
Well, it was also jarring the fact that we also have to bring into the conflict, between Eastern and Western. So this is a Western style hotel. Very, I believe, out of place. Or no, this was in a sort of Western part of town that had kind of bought into the whole thing.
Yeah, the town of Sapporo.
It was an area where Westerners had come to in small numbers. So there were some businesses that were specifically catering to them as a way of making money.
The vibe I'm getting is that the further north you go in Hokkaido, the more Western influence you find because you're further away from Tokyo and closer to Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense.
The couple, as they're settling in for the night, pass out under the watchful gaze of an eye in a wall.
Yes. Shenanigans ensues, and then...
A severed head in a bucket of blood. Like, holy
Sam, you're burying the lead.
Yeah.
This body is hanging from the roof and has been split out like asshole to neck.
Yes, like completely bifurcated. This woman is like, what? Like,
what? The woman has the only reasonable reaction
of screeching in terror.
I'm just saying, not only is your husband dead, you have his naked, bifurcated corpse hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah.
We also find out that the proprietress of this, there's a whole thing where it is a like woman in Western style dress. Except everyone is talking about how beautiful she is. but she is noted as having a deep voice, which she even comments to the woman who's her guest that she really appreciates how feminine her voice is. And like everyone's talking about how beautiful she is, and then the wife just goes, "I don't know, something seemed off," and it was that she was a murderer.
Yep.
Distinctly androgynous, but we find out that
distinctly androgynous, but packing a hog. Because
Very feminine face, very large silhouetted penis.
The manga does their penis is large. We're already in here. This is a honking hog. There is, guys. I've read the other 2 arcs. There's no way this is an explicit episode.
I warned you. I told you this is going to be an R-rated episode. You questioned me.
Given what we learn about this character, particularly endowed schlong, seems like the sort of thing he'd do, because we learn later that, well, we learn right now that this is one of the tattooed convicts, because that is the only part that isn't silhouetted, and this person is described as a psycho doctor who believed that by eating the parts of strong, healthy young people that were decaying in his own body, he could attain that sort of youthful vitality. So,
and that seems to be a common thread, though, with like doctors who want to obtain the fountain of youth, so to speak.
Well, it's kind of a common thing in this whole story. The idea of you are what you eat.
Yeah, because this is mentioned a little later, but it's like Chinese medical practices is like what ails you is what you should eat. Like if you've got a bad heart, you should eat chicken hearts and like blah blah blah. This doctor has taken it to be like, I want desirable parts of people. They don't say he eats them.
But it's very heavily implied.
It's kept vague. The one thing though I do want to say is it appears to be working. Is the big thing, because
because I was just like, this person, did they go like a bunch of procedures and stuff like to try to make them more androgynous or to feminize themselves? And it's just eating.
There's also a level of youth to them, because as a prisoner, he's constantly being described as being a old man, whereas as the proprietress, they look like significantly more youthful. Like there's not a wrinkle anywhere on their face unless the metaphorical mask starts to slip.
And like most importantly, which is my entire like thought process on this, it's when surprise, Ushiyama's here, the big buff guy who threw a prostitute as a projectile weapon.
Ushiyama the undefeated.
She was thrown.
Yes, but he shows up to the hotel for seemingly no reason. It's great. He's just like,
yes,
I'm just here at the scene now.
I'm on business. Hey, lady, you pretty hot. I want that.
Hot.
I want to hit
I'm
that.
going to. It's even more. I am going to have sex with you. Is that okay? Sure. He doesn't recognize me. But what I will say,
he recognizes Ushiyama as another one of the Abashiri convicts.
Of course, looking outward, he's like,
But the one thing Ushiyama does note on is that Inaga, Kano is the name of the proprietress. He specifically notices she has a very pretty voice, which is not a trait she had before. She killed the woman with the very pretty voice.
I'm just saying, something was figured out, and seriously, it's $1 million plan.
I'm saying this is some weird nonsense. Like this is literally just a horror murder mystery for a little bit, is what this arc is. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
build the perfect woman.
This manga has always been
perfect woman has a giant hog.
Yeah, obviously.
A giant hog and a fat ass. You know what? I'm here for it.
Both of those are mentioned.
Yes.
Ushiyama is specifically staring at Inaga's ass and goes, "You've got a very good rear view, madam."
Oh my.
Smooth. The Riz is very strong on this one.
It's all about that confidence.
To be fair, Inaga's also just like, you do have muscular arms that couldn't possibly belong to a human being. I'm all about that. But we'll bone later.
We'll bone, okay?
It's very much giving those vibes of the one friend, childhood friends. One grows up to be very, very hot.
And then to make Inaga's day even worse, our hero crew shows up and there's Shiraishi.
Shiraishi, my man.
Hello, I'm Shiraishi. I am single but could be a devoted boyfriend if given the chance. Why the hell is he here too?
And it's literally like a scene from Scooby-Doo in that these people are like a wall apart.
Speaking of the wall, this is a plot point for later.
You can literally
Ushiyama smashes a wall to Kabadon, and that comes up later as a critical plot point.
Ushiyama smash anything.
Literally.
Ushiyama has standards. So essentially, this is the Bates Motel, and Inaga has built a whole bunch of secret rooms and like false passageways and trapdoors and stuff just to be able to navigate, and only they can navigate this building. There's a little bit of backstory about how this hotel used to be owned by an old couple, but they died recently, leaving it to this woman who seemed to come out of nowhere.
That seems to happen a lot. Targeting these old couples.
Well, as we find out, Inaga's just a serial killer.
Yeah.
Like,
if you didn't guess that already, I mean, she did kill her first two patrons here.
So we have the very convoluted layout now with all the secret passages that have been put in afterwards, and the serial killer creeping through, seeing Shiraishi completely smitten, and Ushiyama, who I can only assume is doing pre-sex workout
pre-sex
routines.
Squats.
Yeah.
Which honestly is one of the least unhinged things he's ever done.
In this arc, really.
In this arc, yeah. It's here where it goes from a like very tense serial killer horror into a Scooby-Doo routine because
this is when Shiraishi is trying to find her and she's realizing she can't hide while being pursued by him. She's like, just kill him anyway, and pulls the trap door on him.
Yeah. Because Shiraishi keeps trying to find her, and she's dipping in and out of all of the secret passageways.
She also doesn't want Ushiyama to find Shiraishi because only Shiraishi, Ushiyama, and that faction know that Shiraishi is working with them.
Mm-hmm.
Inaga's perspective is, if they see each other, they're gonna fight, and that's gonna cause more problems than it's worth. So I can't let Ushiyama see Shiraishi.
Yeah, Shiraishi gets thrown into a wall. It's a classic.
So Shiraishi gets dropped into the murder dungeon. Even though he explicitly doesn't have any part that Inaga wants. So this will just be killing for fun. Can we also point out that the murder dungeon looks suspiciously like a sex dungeon?
It does.
Yeah.
Porque no los dos.
Shockingly, a lot of overlap. Also, really surprising that Inaga got down there so fast because Ushiyama was trying to make good on that promise.
Heck yes, Ushiyama does not give half-ass
that is a deep tongue kiss that is broken by Inaga biting his lip enough to draw blood, and that does nothing but intensify his lust.
He's like, damn, I love a woman who likes to fight. A little bit of spunk in this one.
No, Jay, that's after.
And that's not a bit either. That's just actually the scene.
Yeah.
We also have the first meeting of Ushiyama and Sugimoto.
Which is great.
Neither of them know who the other is.
I love it so much because they're on the way to the hotel bar and they just like, hey, you've got judo ear. I don't have judo ear because I was really good at judo, but you must know a lot about judo. Well, let's shake hands then. And then the narrator box just pops up. Obviously, two practitioners of judo can know how strong the other is just by merely shaking hands. And I'm like, okay, Demon Slayer narrator box, you can chill out for a bit.
And they finish their measuring of each other's power levels. Sugimoto's like, holy crap, this guy's center of gravity is basically the center of the earth. What the hell is he?
And then Ushiyama goes, hey, you're pretty strong. You might be the strongest person I've met in a while. I know if we fought right now, one of us would die. You want to have a drinking party? And then they have a drinking party with Sapporo beer. Did you know Sapporo beer was made by a veteran of the Russo-Japanese War? It's that taste of losing that really...
Yeah, he also fought Hijikata. And Hijikata always said that guy was a real asshole for beating me, but he made good beer. What do you mean that Hijikata said that? I mean, he would say that if he was alive. He almost gave away the plot.
Look, Jay and Sam have been with me to Korean barbecue enough times to know my love of Sapporo, so everything said here is correct.
Okay, so little known fact, Sapporo is one of the few beers that I will absolutely drink if offered.
It's really good.
Sapporo is my go-to giant salaryman beer.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, what? You sell 1 liter beer steins? Well then.
Hit me up.
Come by, motherfucker.
Come by. We have a delightful exchange between a drunk Asirpa and Ushiyama.
Yeah,
Yes.
They don't say Asirpa was drinking, but when she shows up, she is drunk. So
She definitely had been.
I did find the scene in the anime, and it's very funny, and it makes it very clear that Asirpa was drinking. So
Yes.
It was this way that I learned that Ushiyama is voiced by Chris Sabat.
Which is amazing.
Yep.
Honestly, no one better.
But we get a great literally a conversation that could only happen in Golden Kamuy, because Ushiyama to a drunk Asirpa just goes like, oh, hold on, I know we're having a drinking competition. I need to take a break because I see there's a young impressionable woman here, and I need to give her life advice. Hey, little girl, you need to know the most important thing about a man is his dick. You know about dicks, little girl? She's like, I've seen a dick at the beach. And then
Sugimoto.
Hold on, Asirpa. When they get cold, they shrink. No, I'm not talking about size. I'm talking about the force, the gentleman's cock.
he needs to have the dick of a gentleman.
Uncle blatantly agrees to. He's absolutely right.
That's the best part.
One thing I love is the anime cuts out the line that's in the manga when he explains what he means by it. It's like, he needs to have the dick of the gentleman. You'll probably have to sleep with him first to find out if he's the one. And then the uncle just goes, yeah, that sounds right.
The uncle is great in this because he's agreeing with this. Earlier, he was criticizing.
Oh my god, the uncle had such a good line earlier.
He was criticizing Shiraishi for going after Inaga because he's like, man, a fuller woman is better.
Don't choose a woman based on what she looks like. Choose her based on what she feels like in bed.
Oh man. Now that the penis seminar is over.
Yeah, the wisdom has been dispensed. Ushiyama goes back to his room where, you know how I said there's a plot point that he cabadoned that wall hard enough to crack it?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The walls are unusually thin in here. What's that about?
Well, time to just go investigate. And then he winds up in the murder dungeon. And he's just like,
he just drunkenly stumbles into it.
Yeah, and Shiraishi's like, oh, thank God, Ushiyama, you're here to save me. Please untie me. And we find out Ushiyama is very drunk because he goes, Naga, I knew you couldn't hide from me in this cool sex dungeon you've made. And he proceeds to then latch onto Shiraishi's nipples.
Poor Shiraishi.
This is so funny because he's just like, I really don't want to be in this situation. And the second Ushiyama gets off, he's just full stop goes, never referencing that again. Please untie me.
I feel like when they all get out of this, they're just like, yep, we're never going to talk about that again, are we, man?
Nope.
Nope.
No, Ushiyama, you don't understand. Inaga, he's one of the prisoners from Abashiri.
He's one of the tattooed convicts.
He's a crazy serial killer. I don't care. I ain't stopping till I've had a taste of them. As he throws.
Yeah.
He starts bashing the door of the murder dungeon with one of the torture devices.
He is
Right, she's just like, but they have a penis. And Ushiyama's just like, I don't care. I'm fucking them.
Dick makes it better.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know what's worse. This guy will obviously be able to kill you, but also very, very, very capable of beating you to death.
Go out doing what you love. So anyway, you might be wondering, why is Inaga not here? That's because they need to lick Asurpa's eyeballs, is what's going on.
So
Fortunately, that ends quickly because Sugimoto instantly drop kicks them.
I love it because
hey.
we get a long, prolonged scene of them opening Asurpa's eye and going like, oh yes, such beautiful eyes. And you're like, okay, I get it.
So this is the nod to the fact that she very likely does eat the beautiful body parts that she wants to consume.
Yeah. And Inaga kind of licks down, and there's like a single scene of like a tongue caressing Asurpa's eyeball.
All I can think about is eye infection. I'm like, oh god, how dirty human mouths are.
And then Sugimoto says what I'm thinking, what the fuck are you doing licking her eye?
While in the midst of kicking them in the face. It's awesome.
And I love that because they have an excuse ready, and Sugimoto's immediately like, yeah, that's definitely bullshit. Not only did I barricade the door, so how did you get in here, but also, you were licking her eye. I don't care if you thought she was sick. That's weird.
Damn it, I knew I shouldn't have lowered the dosage of the knockout gas to not kill Asurpa. Sugimoto wasn't affected.
And so now we know why that couple fell into such a deep sleep.
And
they're being gassed.
Yep. And then we turn from Scooby-Doo into Kool-Aid Man because Ushiyama just starts running through walls.
Yeah.
He's just crashing through all of the walls. Where are you? I need to fuck you.
I need to have sex.
We're gonna have sex. Inaga!
Saying part of me would be like into it, but part of me would be like, oh god.
I'm going to die.
Yeah.
It's really just the panel of him smashing through a wall, completely blank-eyed, chanting her name.
I'm just saying, some women like being pursued. I don't know how I'd feel about that.
Look, I'm saying serial killers get enough fan mail. I'm sure there's a woman into it.
Shiraishi desperately trying to wake up Kirikane, like, come on, man, this is a murder hotel. We need to get out of here. We're in a freaking serial killer novel right now. Inaga breaks out of a wall and just like.
Well, Inaga opens a panel and lands on
Kirikane.
Kirikane, and then just hand through wall. A grenade is thrown. Eventually, the way Inaga ends these chase shenanigans is she yells to Ushiyama. She basically sets Sugimoto and Ushiyama against each other.
That guy's immortal, Sugimoto! Take him out!
And they just start judoing each other for like
through more walls. Like holy
for
crap!
Several pages.
And meanwhile, that's just
the walls in this place.
Very thin, actually, because they're meant to be spied through as the entire thing. Like,
yeah,
they're secret passages, so there's no insulation. It's just like corridors. So it kind of makes sense, but this is all just a distraction so Inaga can get down to the self-destruct switch or lever or pulley, I guess, that she had installed into the hotel.
As you do.
They just go like, well, I guess this hotel's done for. Open up a very ornate box and there's just like a pulley in there. They pull down it and then just the basement just has like alcohol dumped in it and fire is lit up.
Oh boy, we got to get out of here quick. Don't worry, Shiraishi is going to grab the explosives that they have. This can't possibly go wrong.
Meanwhile, Shiraishi dropped the bag. And then the bag fell into the fire. And then Shiraishi ran down the steps going like, hey guys, I dropped the bag of explosives into the fire. We need to leave now. What?
You know how last time I was saying that Shiraishi got like tortured so badly and he didn't deserve it because he was so useful? Yeah, Shiraishi deserves everything he gets in this section. He was a useless idiot, and I love him for it.
I love how Sugimoto falls down the trapdoor into the murder basement and still manages to sprint back up to the ground floor in like 2 pages so they can all flee from the explosion. Apparently the stairs also collapsed into a ramp.
Yeah. What kind of trap is this?
A Scooby-Doo one!
It's Scooby-Doo! That's a straight-up Scooby-Doo trap, 100%.
I'm here for it.
I mean, to be fair, I think one of the chapters is literally called like Escape from the Murder Mansion. So like,
yes, they know what they're doing and they're doing it wonderfully.
Mm-hmm. Our heroes, they don't look at explosions, but they are not cool guys. They are all very haggard as the entire hotel goes up.
they do all eat poop. So I mean,
Yep.
Yes, these filthy Japanese eat their poop.
Asirpa screaming, "No, Professor Penis!" as the hotel explodes.
yeah, because what happens is Inaga gets trapped under a beam, so they can't actually escape the hotel, and they're like, "Ah, great, now I'm gonna die." And Ushiyama's just like, "Hold on, little lady, I'm not gonna let you die. Get into my big, strong hands so that I can fuck you." What? And then
Yes.
Ushiyama just takes the brunt of the building falling on him. Everyone assumes he's dead. And then we just cut to night when he like shakes off the debris and walks away with Inaga in his hands. Like,
What is this guy?
You're just lucky he's on your side, okay?
He's not, though. He's just an antagonist.
he's a villain who threw a woman as a projectile weapon earlier. He's not a good guy.
No.
And Asirpa's just holding a fish cake like, "No, Professor Penis."
Asirpa, that's a fish cake. Please throw it away.
That's not the thing from his forehead. Shiraishi gets some insider information as he goes to deliver the copy of the tattooed skin, which was the actual plot. The hotel fire Scooby-Doo chase sequence and the explosion was all just side stuff.
Well, because the only reason they went to this town particularly was because Shiraishi was telling them that's what they needed to do so that he could do his like little meetup. So
Mm-hmm.
As it turns out, there was insider information on one of the tattooed convicts. How about that?
I then love how he relays that to the party by just going like, "Yeah, I met a cute prostitute who told me," but the cute prostitute was actually just Inaga. So
Yep.
there's a convict who's out in this other area who was a guest at the hotel or something.
He's in the town of Hidaka. Cut to a severed hand falling and Hijitaka shooting a guy.
Oh, I love Ichitaka.
This next segment might be my favorite piece of media I've ever consumed. It's so good.
This next segment is literally just a Western. Like, it's the plot of a Western movie. It's the action of a Western movie. And the cover arts are just posters to Westerns.
This is a whole John Wayne trilogy in one arc of manga.
Well, actually, it's more of a Serge de Leon Western because you have the two like godlike figures who have machinations beyond. If this were a Western, then the main character would be the Yakuza boss's son. And
True.
here come these two absurdly powerful, like godlike individuals who just sort of meander into town and decide to insert themselves into the
And
conflict.
screw up the entire balance of power. It's great because Hichitaka and the other old guy, I don't remember his name. Nakakura.
Shinpachi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nagakura.
Nagakura, yeah.
Yeah, they both wander into the town, kill some randos that tried to waylay them, and then they go to get a haircut at the barber shop.
As you do.
Yep.
I like Hijikata's comment is, next time, pick a fight with something more on your level, like a stray cat.
Boom. Gotta roast each other in between. Sassy old men.
look, this guy has earned the right to be the sassiest bitch.
Yeah, basically. And people like for some reason try them, and I'm like, I'm old, not dead. I don't know why they keep trying to try me.
Posed up with his katana and Winchester rifle.
Yeah, I mean,
God,
these are not the old guys to fuck with.
He's so cool. He's so cool. Why
like,
is he the villain?
He's super. He looks super old, but Hijikata in particular is not someone you want to fuck with. The look at his face says you're going to die. Like his companion looks way more innocuous than he is because he's just as terrifying. But he's not so overtly, obviously that terrifying.
He seems very much like the one who's going to use words before he's going to use.
Yeah. He seems sleepy, like he needs to take his nap.
Yeah, like if you're going to be reasonable and give him what he wants just from talking to him, he's like, he probably won't kill you.
Whereas Hijikata chooses violence by default.
Yeah.
You have to convince him not to choose violence.
Yes.
So they go to the barber's shop, and the barber's like, well, y'all made a decision when you went and killed those boys, and now you gotta choose a side. What do you mean choose a side? I mean that there's 3 gangs controlling this town. Well, technically 2. There's the original gambling house. There's the gambling house that spun off it when the old master went and passed the torch to his good-for-nothing son, and his right-hand man broke away. And then there's
Innsmouth right-hand man.
Yeah, and then there's the police, which went and threw in with that fish-eyed motherfucker. Seriously, dude's got the Innsmouth look. He is wall-eyed. They are full black.
Yeah, this man looks like a herring, which is hilarious.
I mean, it's a fishing village, right? So
you know,
it's gotta be
meat.
Yep.
It is a fishing village. Usually that does not mean that they slept with the fish in a
Hey, it was rough. It was hard times, Sam. I don't think you need to judge.
They went out to Devil's Reef, they made the sacrifices, they got the gold, and some of the children were just weird the next generation.
We don't kink shame on the Over Manga Cast, but that's an eldritch god. Please stop.
No, we really kink shame the people that sleep with the children of Dagon.
That doesn't come up as a plot point, by the way. Like, he seems to crumble when he's hit with a sword, but other than that, he's just a guy.
He's just a weird-looking guy. I'm making a lot of Shadow of Innsmouth jokes because look at him, but he's just a guy.
I think the joke is supposed to be he looks like a herring and took over the boss's like herring mine kind of deal.
Yes, it's funny and punny. Yes,
but he looks horrifying, so that's not what we think.
Really, it's just unfortunate for him. He's probably doing all right, or he was.
Well, not anymore, but we'll get to that.
Ooh, so you 2 old-timers went and took out those thugs for the enemy team. You seem pretty strong. How about you join our side? It's going to be 50 yen for both of us to join you. What? That's outrageous. I would never do that for old farts like you. I mean, wait, hold on. Maybe if you did a job for me, I mean, we could consider it maybe a discount. I mean,
I want you to kidnap a
pregnant woman
mistress. Pregnant mistress, at which point they turn on their heels and say, we're joining the other team because you suck. Which, yeah, that sounds about right.
It's always fun to find the lines in the sand that men like these will draw, because, like, these guys are totally not above violence, horrible violence, but, like, that's the part where they make their decision. It tells a lot about a character.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, they're not good people, but they have a moral code. Like, and honestly, that's their whole thing. They're adhering to an outdated moral code for a bygone era, and that's what makes them villains. Mm-hmm. But that means if there's someone who's just an evil, depraved asshole, they're going to side against them by default, regardless. They're more dangerous because they're more powerful, but they're, like, they have that level of respect to them.
Mm-hmm. I also like that as soon as they go to the other gang's like, what, a bunch of weak old farts like you? Why would we ever work with you? And then Ichitaka, immediately just sick of this, cuts down 2 of their boys and says, all right, guys.
Listen up, buddy.
You need to learn something about men who live to old age in dangerous professions.
Yeah, you don't want to fuck with them.
Also, Ogata's here.
Meanwhile... I love how everybody just goes to this barbershop.
I mean, that's
Going
what
to town.
barbershops kind of are. I mean, the same thing with women and their hairdresser. Like, that's where the gossip happens. People find stuff out.
It's the only barber in town.
Yeah.
A damn barber and his super sharp scissors.
Hey, he's going to make you look really, really fly.
Well, he needs the scissors so sharp.
Yeah.
Indeed. I like how he always wears he's always wearing a mask, so he can't be affiliated with either group.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you needed a barber, right?
Yeah.
It's neutral territory.
I was just gonna say it's neutral territory. Oh.
As the old men are having dinner, the son of the original gambling hall owner
Mm-hmm.
and his mother show up, and it's like, hey, you guys are pretty cool. 60 yen. And you work for us. I suppose we could, but you really should be more concerned about the fact that they're going to take your leader's mistress hostage. They're gonna do what?
Oh, there's a lot of fun. What does one person or the other know stuff, because everybody knows more about the situation than they're letting on. But really, only the mistress and one other person have the complete picture.
I will say one thing: these 4 chapters are dense.
They are so dense. Like, I'm just thinking about how this is like 4 pages and so much happens. We really can't beat for beat this. We'll be here all day.
Oh, and I want to talk about the climax of this. So yeah. Short version is
I knew they would do anything to get their hands on that tattooed skin. That's a key to the hidden Ainu treasure.
My God, they were paid in a tattooed skin? That means it's more valuable than gold. Did anyone tell that woman she actually needed like the 49 other tattooed skins for it to be worth anything? No. Obviously not.
Why would we do that? Meanwhile, Ogata also ends up choosing a side, sort of almost by accident, because the police chief is like, hey, you seem strong, so you're gonna choose a side. And then, we get an impromptu shave.
As you do.
He takes the barber's scissors and snips the police.
The cleft chin.
Yeah,
snips the cleft chin.
This is some like traditional Golden Kamuy bullshit about like, man, knives can cut through anything, right? Like,
all right, police chief ass chin, you are now my hostage.
I now control your faction. You're gonna deal with that.
Hey, everybody, you see that bell atop of that tower like 200 meters away? Watch this. Boom. Oh, wow. He shot that bell from extremely far away.
I guess he owns us now.
Yep. That's how he joins the Innsmouth crew.
Hijikata is like, all right, time to go deal with the whole pregnant mistress thing. Shoots all of her guards. She's our hostage now. Which this is pretty cool because like he's kind of doing this to
incite a gang war.
Yeah, he's doing it to incite a gang war, but it's also, again, we can't go beat for beat because it's so dense, but what he's actually doing this for is he knows that he's been informed that the mistress and the Yakuza boss's son are the one who are together, and they want no part in any of this. So it's like, I'll incite a gang war that will get me the skin, and I get these people to out of the situation they're not happy about. Win-win.
Wait,
nobody's gonna enjoy the process, but it's gonna happen.
Wait, what do you mean the mistress is pregnant with your child? Well, yeah, Ma told me that actually Pa is infertile and I'm the bastard son of a fisherman that she had an affair with, so...
This arc is so great for setting up an expectation and then doing the exact opposite of what you think is gonna happen with it.
Uh-huh.
They set this up and I'm like, okay, I get it. So dad's really a pushover and like Ma's the real power. We find out that's not true.
Well, it's also the fact that when he gets upset, because obviously he finds out the truth, I was just kind of like, is he upset that he's infertile or upset the fact that he's also upset, obviously, that the son isn't his. But I'm also like, did he not
he's
realize?
upset that his wife brags that she fucked somebody else and that he should have known all along. And then he proceeds to beat her head in with a rake. Like,
It's so fucking hardcore, dude.
In other words,
there's also a fun moment of him being like, well, at least I don't have to be disappointed in you being such a lousy son anymore. Leave.
yeah, it makes me wonder, like, is he upset that it happened, or is he upset that their dirty laundry got aired out?
no, he's
Like-
100% upset that he's finding out this way. And then you think he's going to be a pushover. And then he basically kills 2 people with his bare hands. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's skipping over the giant Western conflict where the 2 armies fight each other.
Shootout.
And in this town of 500 people, 100 people die today. Like,
Yeah. It is brutal.
they set the pregnant mistress out as bartering. They are trading the skin for her, and then the sniper up on the roof just takes a shot through her stomach, through the back of the horse's skull.
Damn.
And I thought,
That's a
holy
sharpshooter.
crap, they DMC Devil May Cried it. Ogata just went full Virgil. What is this?
I'm just saying, I feel the worst for the horse.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Poor horse.
The horse did nothing
Horse didn't
wrong.
deserve that. Yeah.
Because we find out that the mistress was actually the old man from earlier with a stuffed stomach to look like he was pregnant.
I'm
And
just
then
he
saying,
also put on the
damn, he
lipstick.
knew.
he put on the lipstick, and everyone's just like, "Your face was covered. Why?"
You were wearing a veil. Why did you put on the lipstick?
Because it
Because
was
he's a
moisture.
method actor.
It's a moisturizing. No, it's really nice.
But Nakagura just kind of hides behind the horse's corpse so he doesn't get sniped for the rest of the.
They're
For the rest
survivors.
For a chunk of it, because eventually
Yeah.
he does. He
Up
does.
until 10 guys come up around him, he's like, "Hey, you better not do that, because once I get fired up, I don't stop." What could that even mean? Too late. And then he just kills all 7 of those people.
Yeah.
Yep.
We also have Hichitaka being a complete badass because it's here where we learn this is a small town and these are small town gangsters. None of them are used to actual violence. All they do is posture in the streets and occasionally beat somebody up. Nobody's actually killed anyone before. And so when every member of the Hidoro gang is balking at the sudden shedding of blood, Hijitaka walks up with sword-drawn Winchester out and says, "All of you will march at my orders, and if anyone runs, I cut them down."
Yep, you and the army now.
He is burning with fury. It's amazing.
And like the whole time, Ogata and Hijikata are like training these guys mid-battle in battle tactics for a
In army
gunfight.
warfare, it's
Yeah.
in urban conflict. It's
Yeah, because the road they're on has Ogata in his sniper tower who's shooting them all down, and they fight their way to the front lines, and they finally take the shot that hits him in the shoulder. He falls off, disappears, and you're like, "Oh, where did Ogata go?" And then we find out that the herring factory is on fire because he ran out and back to light it on fire. Because as we know, they didn't bring the real skin; they brought a fake skin. The real skin was hidden in the herring factory because there's always money in the herring factory.
Yes.
And then we get the scene where Ma just like flat out tells Pa that he's not even your real son. I cheated on you. She gets beat to death with a rake. He threatens to beat his son to death. And then Ogata shoots him in the head, going like, "Real shame, kid. Killing your parents, the first step to gain real independence." And we're like, "What the fuck, Ogata? What are you doing here? Why did you set everything on fire? And why would you say that?"
What does that imply about your backstory? We're not talking about that right now. I've got the tattooed skin folded on my head. Ha ha.
Then the 2 old men show up going like, "Man, someone lit the herring factory on fire. That was only plan C for us in case plan A or B didn't work out, because in case the skin burned." And meanwhile, Ogata's got the skin draped around his head so they can't headshot him. And he's just like, "Hey, you looking for a bodyguard?" And we're like, "What is going on? This was a job application?"
The entire time he's saying this, they're in a burning building.
It's very aesthetic. The other thing that I really liked from this sequence, just because it's a really good example of, it's a very minor scene, it's a very minor moment, but it has a lot of complexity to it. The whole time, the Yakuza boss's son has been consistently been like, he's a coward, he's a weakling, he's a pushover, and at one point, he's like sort of lamenting to Hijikata and Nakagura about how, look, I know I'm a coward, but like, help me out with this one thing and I can get out of here. I know I'm not cut out for this. And they both look at him and they both say, neither of us said you were a coward.
Mm-hmm.
Which it's such a cool moment because the thing is, they definitely don't respect him. He is physically a weakling, but there's an acknowledgement of his
emotional and like his strength of personality.
Yeah, his strength of character. He knows he's not for this life, and he's going against his as we see, very violent parents to do right by his woman, and they respect him for it. Like, you know, they might not like respect him in totality, but they absolutely respect what he's doing. And that's the reason why Hijikata, went about the plan the way he did, because there are so many other ways he could have gone about doing things, but he specifically weakened the son's parents' position so that the son could get away with his lover.
I mean, we do kind of find out they could have just killed everyone in town, but
they could. Honestly, that probably would have been easier for them, frankly.
But they did a good turn by this dude.
Well, good turn is because the scene they have with the barber at the end is great, where they're just like, well, time to head out on the old dusty trail. I guess now that all the bad guys are dead, you guys can move back to having a nice quiet little town. And the barber's just like, yeah, I guess you killed like 25% of the population, bud.
It is a quiet little town now. You guys could just stay here, right? No, too many bad memories. We're leaving. We're in Hokkaido, right? There's like lots of dangerous wildlife out. Okay, they're gone.
Okay, bye. And I mean, like that kind of goes back to the whole thing before of like they're villains, but they have honor. It's like they don't do an unambiguously heroic thing. It's a good thing by the standards of villains. And that's kind of what I love about it, because it isn't just they do a good, maybe they're not so bad ever. No, they're bad. They're awful people. They're bad people.
They're just justifying what they do by could have been worse. Like,
yeah.
And then the best way to code this entire chapter, Sugimoto jogging out of the woods saying, "Whew, sorry that took so long. Did you poop?" No, I just went to go take a pee. You pooped, didn't you? I didn't poop. I'm gonna go check. No, go check.
That guy was in the bathroom for a long time. No way he was pissing. He was taking a shit.
I'm gonna go sniff it out.
I'm not saying she has a poop fetish. I'm just saying he took a long time.
I don't know how I feel about this ship, but these arcs are really weird with the Usurpa Sugimoto shipping.
So the ship has been since the beginning. Let's be honest.
Yes, it
flat out, Grandma says, "Hey, he's a nice guy. You should look into marrying him." And she's like, "Nope, not into that."
The affections are one-sided from Usurpa's side, so I feel better about it. These arcs are just very clear about it in some cases.
Yeah.
I'm just
like
saying
she's got a kid's crush on him, whereas he's more like.
This is
it's a daughter thing.
I'm gonna call it early. I feel like they're gonna end up together circumstantially, and it's gonna be one of those mature relationships where it's like,
well, yeah, Sugimoto.
Let's wait until Usurpa ages up before we start.
Sugimoto needs to get over the fact he can't be his best friend's wife.
Yeah, that's also true. But I'm just saying, for the time period. And the fact that they just
for the time period is always a great thing to say when discussing media.
Whatever. I'm calling it. And if it happens, you guys will owe me $100.
100%. That's what they're setting up. I'm not disagreeing with you. Just, I think there's going to be a time skip.
Yes, there will be a time skip, and they will end up together. And she will still tease him about eating poo.
Right now, what we know for certain is that both of them care very deeply about one another, and they will protect each other.
And Sugimoto really wants to fuck his best friend's wife.
That is also true.
On that note, this is probably about our halfway point. So,
yes, while Serpa goes to see if Sugimoto pooped, we will.
Which he totally did.
We'll get ready for the Fox arc.
I don't like that. It could also be called the bear arc.
Yeah. Either way,
it's kind of 2 arcs.
Or the gambler arc.
We'll be back after this.
We'll be back.
We'll decide on what arc it is by the time you get back.
And welcome back to the show, folks, where last we left off our adventurers. They had just escaped from a burning hotel, and that was the last thing that happened to the main party.
We had a fun Serge de Leon Western adventure.
Mm-hmm. So we have a brief interstitial where a Serpa kills a fox.
And very sad. It's just a fluffy potato. Why you do that to the foxo?
Because you can sell its pelt for 6 bottles of booze.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but I don't drink and I love foxes. That sounds like a terrible trade to me.
Well,
it's literally the worst possible trade for Jacob.
I don't like any part of this.
Yes.
Yes, but Shiraishi likes the idea of the 6 bottles of booze.
He has an bleh moment of we don't have money because we have to replace the explosives you lost.
Hey, we still got some money, except for all the money that a Serpa lent you that you blew on horse racing. Hey, shut up!
Shiraishi, put your head in this spiked bucket.
I love the image of Shiraishi, the flashback of Shiraishi at the gambling track where he's just watching the horses, and then he loses, and then him and several other men in the crowd all have the exact
that
same
weird, like, O-face.
the same expression of "we just lost so much money." Oh,
That's the thing. The manga really knows how to draw expressive faces, and I love it.
Oh yeah.
Also, Shiraishi literally steals or borrows money from a child and loses it.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. He was not loaned that money to go gambling. He stole it. Like I said earlier, Shiraishi deserves everything he gets in this section.
So they
he was distinctly not useful this time.
Yeah. So they go into the next Ainu village, and the old man is like, "Oh yes, there's a fortune teller here that everybody's really infatuated with. Oh, here she comes now. Look at this sexy lady."
A fortune teller indeed. This is the classic shell game scam artist fortune teller. It's very obvious very quickly.
Yes, with the Serpa immediately like hones in on. She's just like, I don't trust this lady. Yep. Nope.
I am an enlightened Ainu woman of a modern age. I don't fall for your cheap parlor tricks. I'm also willing to recontextualize whether or not an animal has really eaten human flesh so that I may consume it. What?
She also decides to undercut Sugimoto's game because she's like, "Ooh, I do like scarred soldiers." And a Serpa in Ainu, "Yeah, well, Sugimoto likes to eat poop in his soup, so..." Wait, a Serpa, I heard you say my name and then poop and then soup. What the hell did you say in that sentence?
He's learning.
I love how defensive a Serpa gets. She's just like, "Oh no, don't acknowledge this woman. He eats poop. He eats poop all the time. He does it all the time. You wouldn't want to talk to him. He eats poop."
Poop eater over here.
Stinky.
Yep.
You definitely wouldn't want to kiss him on those luscious lips. No one would want that. They taste like poop. Delicious, delicious poop.
I just love Uncle up in the back, like just chilling.
A Serpa's uncle has the most uncle energy of any uncle I've seen in manga. He's just like, "Yeah, fuck it, kid. I'm not your parents."
One more thing.
If this causes some backblasts on my brother, that's his problem.
I love Inkermat's method of fortune telling with this ancient relic passed down through generations. Like, if it was any more obvious, she's a complete frickin' charlatan.
She puts a fox jaw on her head and then bows. And then if it falls off of her head tooth up, it's a good omen. And if it falls tooth down, it's a bad omen.
This fox jaw that has supposedly been used this way for generations and is in pristine condition. Yeah, okay. That's the thing. It legitimately might be because, like, she is ethnically Ainu. She's just obviously not, like, culturally Ainu. So it's like, that legitimately might be a, like, family relic that she's just abusing like this.
Yes, in other words, she's very much one of those daughters who said, I am going to embrace the Japanese way. I don't need your traditional, like, Ainu culture. And then decided that she could make, like, a mint in Ainu culture, and then just came back and abuses their customs. Yes.
It ends up being a whole mini arc of
her and Shiraishi going to the horse races.
Yeah.
Shiraishi drowning in money and women and animals that don't bite him.
I love how the cover arts have gotten so elaborate because the cover art for this one is just Shiraishi's fantasy. Yeah, and it becomes increasingly obvious that she's just cold reading people. She actually might be hot reading because the fact that she knew Asurpa was looking for her father.
Yeah, based on what we see when she's brought to the horse racing track, I think she's in on it because she knows who is fated to win. And by what I mean, we find out the horse races are rigged.
It's all rigged, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
there's also the illusion later on that, like, she knows more about Asurpa than we might be comfortable with.
She's not like a mystical fortune teller. She's a fortune teller. So she's obviously reading people, and they are famous enough at this point that she might have had access to research on who they are and what they're doing. And considering that they're, somewhat secretive despite the information that's gotten out, would, be basically a perfect end for her.
Yeah. So
over the course of the chapter, she starts selling good luck charms to Shiraishi. He is completely useless in this section. He does nothing good.
That's clearly her business model, though, is she's giving winning information to someone and then mooching money off of them. So that he's winning, but she keeps charging him more and more for these things. She's getting a percentage of his winnings. And then when he eventually loses because he does something stupid, she still has money.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good scam.
And while they are continued to be engaged in their scam, the uncle, whose name I can never remember.
He is
Kotakane, I think?
I forget what her uncle's name is.
Yeah.
The point is he loves horses, and he quickly finds out that the whole thing is rigged, and is not happy about it.
He wanders around, finds a jockey cap, puts it on. Two of the horse racing staff go, "Hey, you horse racer, what are you doing out here? You're supposed to be getting ready for the next bout. You idiot, are you blind? He's not the same guy. Look, he's got a beard."
This is literally a Yakuza side quest.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's just like, what? A jockey's cap? You equip the jockey's cap. Hey, you want to race in our rigged horse race minigame? What?
It's the quest trigger.
Kaneda! I'm also a jockey.
Kiryu-chan! We will now race!
Kaneda's the guy from Akira. That's a very different.
I'm just saying, the energy is the same.
Kaneda!
Yeah.
I could see that dude wearing like snakeskin jockey apparel.
Yep.
The uncle learns that the part of the race fixing is to overwater the horse that's supposed to lose and essentially give drugs to the horse that's meant to win.
Yes. They give him viper powder or cocaine.
Whatever they have on hand.
Yeah, which one?
And he's like, yes, I will participate in this. Except I'm going to win because I believe in honor.
Well, no,
Not
it's
just honor. He says horses also are competitive.
yeah,
So the horses also want to win. And he's like, the horse that he's been given wants to win. He's like, oh heck yes, buddy. I'm gonna help you win. We're gonna help you win. I don't want you to like lose because I know that will make you sad.
Yeah, because
he also decides on his course of action when he finds out that sometimes they mess up the Viper powder and it kills the horse. And he suddenly just glares at them and goes like, oh no, they're going down.
Yeah, because it's cocaine. It's cocaine for horses.
Yeah, and the thing is, the horses that they're sabotaging are the ones that deserve to win because they're the best horse in the race.
Yeah.
And, you know,
He's just helping a buddy out. I know you want to win, boy. We're going to help you win. And take all of them down for you.
One of the many cases of Golden Kamuy being like, here is a thing that started to be like practiced. I wanted to mention during the shootout there was fire maneuver was described, and here in the horse race we get the monkey crouch jockey, different way of riding horses that instead of sitting on the horse normally, you put as little weight on the horse's back as possible to maintain their stamina better, and that's how he's able to help number 3 win.
Mm-hmm. Also, Shiraishi, so obsessed with the predictive element of the jawbone, crouches down by it and gets stabbed in the eye.
Which he deserves.
Yes.
It's very funny.
100% deserved.
But amidst all of these gambling-based shenanigans, we actually get a pretty good and interesting character interaction here. Because I forget her actual name, the fox lady.
Mm-hmm.
Shiraishi is trying to bet on the horse that the race is rigged for, and everyone's like, "No, you idiot! We literally have our friend going in. Are you going to bet against him? He's going to win, you dumbass!" And he's like, "I don't care. Go put it all on number 6. Yes, sir." And she runs off into the crowd, and a Serpent chases after her. Meanwhile, Sugimoto is holding down Shiraishi, and we have 2 parallel conversations because the Serpa finds the red fox, and she says, "Hey, do you really think your friends are going to continue to help you after they have all of the money that they need to meet their personal?"
Yeah, sowing doubt. Like, do you think they actually care about you? Are they your real friends?
Yep. And Shiraishi says, "Sugimoto, why are we risking our lives on this insane plan when we have a surefire betting scheme? We can make all the money you need. Do you really need all that gold? Why would you continue to do this?"
Oh my God, we get it. Shiraishi's a piece of crap. We know this. Okay?
And Sugimoto says, "Do you really think I would abandon a Serpa?" Like, I'm paraphrasing. That's not what's actually in the manga, but that's the essence of what he's saying.
And that's why I'm calling it what I'm calling it. They're not going to give up on her.
He's here to help her. And it's an interesting parallel because the doubt has been sown for a Serpa, and yet Sugimoto's resolve is stronger than ever.
Because he's not a piece of shit person.
As much as he'd like to pretend that he is, because he certainly thinks so.
Well, the same thing as we were talking about earlier, the fact that he wants to, hook up with his friend's wife, he still has morals, so he's like, I can't. I want to, but I can't.
The whole situation with his friend's wife is like, the reason he needs money is to pay for surgery for her that she needs, not as a way of like impressing her, getting in her good graces, but because he cares about her and his late friend. It's like, I'm doing this for selfish purposes because I still have feelings for her. It's like, of course you still have feelings for her. You care about her. That's not a bad thing. You're not planning to seduce her with this or anything.
I love how both parties in that relationship are just acknowledging the relationship could never work because they're both too honor bound by like, she was someone else's wife first. And they're like, it would be bad.
The irony of that, though, is because literally, like, that is written in many cultures of like taking care of widows. They would be married to
I'm just saying
brothers or other family members, because the idea would be they would be taken care of. If they could no longer be taken care of by their husband, they would be taken care of by the next closest relative.
That's exactly what I'm saying. He was a brother in arms, so he doesn't get first dibs. That's blood relation brothers. I don't know where we're going with this.
I think we're all saying the same thing, as usual.
The point is that Shiraishi thinks he's rolling in a pile of money, but it's actually a pile of feathers.
Such is life. He deserved it.
He deserved it, yeah.
I'm not even mad.
Look, we love Shiraishi because he is at once a useless idiot and also the hero we all deserve. He
is comedic relief, and that is it.
He was useful last time. He's definitely not this time. He's very useless. He's an active detriment this time.
Yes, many of their problems are actively caused by him.
Shiraishi giveth and Shiraishi taketh away. Mostly the latter.
Anyway, who's ready for the most Western thing?
I am me.
That's saying something.
It's really saying something in this manga, because we open up the next arc with a man in a duster and a cowboy hat kneeling over a pile of blood, saying, "This blood is still fresh," looking into the distance and seeing a horrific, hulking shadow of a beast at the edge of his field. It has paws, it has hooves, it has 2 heads.
And then we cut away and we go clubbing.
Yeah. It's insane that the first arc we read started with a Detective Conan episode and then turned into Scooby-Doo, and that this arc starts with a Scooby-Doo opening and then turns into Detective Conan.
Yes.
It really does.
So anyway.
I can't wait to get to the Detective Conan section. That one's fun. But first we need to address the baby seals.
Yes, we need to go clubbing.
Guys, I've never laughed harder at the page transition, because the cover is like, oh, look, a Serpa found a baby seal and they're best friends. And it's just, I'm like playing on the beach. And then you flip the page to the first page and it's just a Serpa braining this thing.
like the big image of them is like a Serpa with battle damage and the seal handing her one of the poisoned arrows.
Literally.
like they're brothers in arms.
Ranger's companion at bonk. And all of the boys peeking over the hill, just like, I dealt with that. They're all like, but it was so cute.
But that's so many chapter openings where it's like, here's a cover image of an adorable animal that a Serpa is going to murder and devour.
And then she pitches a fit that she doesn't have the spice that she wants to use on the meat.
Yeah,
we all know that at the end of the day, she is a true artiste. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, she's a food bitch. Yes.
Why does she seem more upset about this than finding out her father is possibly a serial killer?
Because it's the possibly.
Possibly.
She knows for certain she's out of spice.
Out of the wildflowers, yeah.
Yeah, she knows for certain that this is a catastrophe. She knows it's not going to taste as delicious.
She also could be addicted to these flowers.
Could be. It could be cocaine. Yeah. We don't know.
It could even be horse cocaine.
It is quote unquote soft wildflower.
It's opium.
Gotta get that wildflower, guys.
It's probably opium.
Good enough for Sherlock Holmes. Good enough for me.
Yep. I can 100% see a Serpa wandering into an opium den and seeing nothing wrong.
They arrive at the next Ainu village where a Serpa's great aunt is.
Yep.
And we immediately learn the tragic backstory. She's like, hi, auntie, I brought you some seal skin and meat. And she's like, oh, no. And she breaks down crying.
Because she's reminded by the seal of the very, very, very treasured family heirloom that she's lost because her daughter got married to a degenerate.
I will say this, we've been running into a lot of like quickly establishing shots for these past couple arcs. This is the one that's most just a video game side quest. Like, oh, hey, Granny, how's it going? Oh no, I'm deeply remembered that my daughter had a sealskin dress and then she married some abusive man who sold that dress to a rich American rancher. And then you're like, well, time to get on my horse and go talk to that rich rancher. And then the Red Dead Redemption cutscene comes on.
Yeah, Shiraishi goes, a rich American rancher? I was just talking about one of those because that's totally what I learned from that prostitute back in Sapporo, not at all from Ushiyama. Haha.
So we when the dialogue box pops up, we click yes on the optional paralogue.
It's also really funny that there is literally like one panel of transition before you flip the page and they're in the rancher's office. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
I guess we're getting right to it.
Yep. We requested a meeting and we were immediately sat. Yes.
Given how like serious the threat is and how it actually plays out, this is an optional side quest because the antagonist here is really, really threatening.
This is like you go and do the side boss that ends up like more difficult than the
main boss. Yeah.
And then you ask yourself, did I really need to?
God damn, how many more bear testicles do I need to make a wallet?
Wow, I actually did the Artorias to the Abyss DLC before fighting Gwyn. I'm so overleveled right now.
Why do I always do the Crown of the Ivory King first?
It's like going to Big Mountain before you even reach Vegas.
I've done that, and it's not fun. I don't recommend it. Spare yourself the pain.
RPG references aside.
They then talk to the most American man you will ever meet. And I know what you're thinking. Matt, you've met more American people in your time. Just wait. This man gets progressively more American by the page.
So now that you mention it, it just reminds me, I feel like this man or his descendants would 100% be in the making of an Asian American president.
Oh, yeah, no.
I was going to say, he's not quite at Planet Texas level yet, but he's going there.
No, he's 100% a senator from Arizona who's just like, well, what the fuck are you talking about, Native American reservations?
Because they go to his office and they're having coffee and it's like, hey, so you bought that sealskin garment for 30 yen. Look, we'll give you 30 yen. You can just give it back to us. 30? Could have sworn it was 100.
And Sugimoto just goes, hey, you know how wars start, old man? Like, what? It's like, yeah, it's when one side decides they're not going to negotiate and they just start throwing out BS numbers. Those people tend to die. And then everyone's just like, Sugimoto, are you just going to murder this guy?
Yes, I will.
At which point the guy says, so, about that 30 yen garment we're talking about.
Sorry, I'm a war vet. No, I don't have time for this diplomatic shit.
No, because the Sugimoto 100% saw this guy was just like raking them over the coals because they're the ones in a desperate strait. And he's just like, but you don't understand. I could just murder you.
Sir, I have a gun and I don't need it.
I don't know if you've seen My Hero Academia. I have a gun. Actually, that's a terrible example. I don't know if you've read Demon Slayer.
Oh my God.
That is the most Western thing of all.
I feel like Mr. Dunn also has guns. Like, he would totally be that dude who has guns.
But we know he has guns, but the difference is Sugimoto is actually, competent with them.
Mm-hmm. Sugimoto is ready for bloodshed, where Dunn isn't. And so Dunn says, Rat, about that 30 yen garment, I got a small favor I need you to do for me before I'm really exaggerating his accent right
Ghost now. Bear. I need you to fight a ghost bear.
You need to go fight the ghost bear.
I shot its eye out and it regrew. That doesn't sound... What are you talking about?
Ah! I shot its claw off and that regrew too.
Sir, you need to lay off the whiskey. Lay off the whiskey, sir.
Here's the claw right before your eyes. Sir, have you ever heard of the Beast of Gavaudan? I ain't some sissy Frenchman.
I only read the most American book of all, the Bible.
There ain't nothing in the Bible about a ghost bear. You need to go kill it with it.
I mean, actually there is, but we're going to move past that.
Yeah, they very, very quickly find out that it is just a normal bear. Well, not normal. It's a red bear, so it's a rare morph, and There's Ainu legends about red-coated brown bears being unusually violent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's true. Gotta have some legends around morphs. They're weird, unusual.
It is a bear, and its preferred killing tactic is to break the neck of a horse and then carry that horse away as food.
So that the horse has to do half the work by walking on its hind legs.
I'm just saying, it's very practical. This shit is heavy.
Thus giving it the silhouette of a two-headed, eight-limbed monster.
They're learning.
And Shiraishi is so scared about this that he sits on a Serpa and breaks her bow.
No, he's not scared of that. He's scared because immediately, like...
Well, Sugimoto says, "Get out of the way, I'm going to shoot it."
Yeah, so he's like, I'm gonna duck. And the Serpa happens to be under him.
Yeah, results in him landing on a Serpa who is reasonably not happy about this.
I'm still going to blame Shiraishi.
It is Shiraishi's fault.
It is
entirely Shiraishi's fault.
Because he didn't want to get shot.
He also could have dove in literally any other direction.
Also, the heavy hand of symbolism. Well, before we know for sure that it's a Beast of Gavaudan situation, Mr. Dunn is like, "It's an immortal monster," and the panel is just Sugimoto.
It's just a bust shot of Sugimoto. staring ominously.
I don't know. Sugimoto has proven to not be as monstrous as so many other people in this series. I'm like, dude, not even close.
Monstrosity is really in the eye of the beholder.
Monster is a relative term. To a canary, a cat is a monster. We're just used to being the cat.
Cats are monsters.
Cats are monsters, and I love them.
Me too. Anyway, we have a very abrupt tone change as they go after the monster, and Sugimoto is trying to like get some information out of the like ranch hand that's come with them. He's like, "Hey, so we heard that some guy about your age happened to wander in here a month ago. You wouldn't happen to know if he was a criminal with weird tattoos, do you?" "Hey, Sugimoto, I found something."
Sugimoto dread mounting about what Serpa found that she's so interested in. Has she always been this interested in fecal material?
Yes. Yes, she has.
I hadn't noticed the degree to which it fills her with joy.
Yes.
It's got to be poop. Come on and see. Oh, wow, she's really excited. Maybe it's not poop. I've never seen anything like this before. Oh, wow, it's actually not poop. Look, it's the bear's rectal plug. Okay, it's poop.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then my favorite panel of Sugimoto, she's explaining how bear rectal plugs work for like
yes, for hibernation and whatnot.
Biology.
Yeah. She's explaining the biology, and she's like, "The way that they get it out is with a really, really big fart, even bigger than the farts that you do in your sleep." And Sugimoto, blushing maiden, goes, "I fart in my sleep?"
Just like, that's not even the worst of it, man.
He's so demure. Poor thing.
Oh, the human body is a cavalcade of horrors, and quite frankly, I'm embarrassed to have one.
Me too. Anyway, who's ready for horse?
Horse steaks? What?
The bear certainly wants some horse steaks.
Well, he's gonna have to wait.
Unfortunately for the bear, the horse escaped. Serpa's uncle decides he's going to protect the horse from the bear at all costs. Shiraishi, useful individual that he is displeased by this decision.
Shiraishi is looped into this because they weren't supposed to be part of the hunting party. They were just going to a nearby barn to serve as like an outpost.
Turns out they actually did in fact find the bear.
They found the horse and subsequently the bear, so they started bolting for the barn. And I've been referencing the Beast of Gavaudan a lot, but for those who don't know, the basic premise is that a bunch of French peasants were like, "Holy an immortal wolf." And then no matter how many times we go out and hunt it, it never seems to really die. And it was actually just a bunch of wolves that all looked similar enough that a bunch of peasants not having photography weren't able to
realize
distinguish the difference.
They were being super racist.
Yeah,
that is
all wolves
which was terrible.
Yes.
And we learn we learn that these bears are a similar situation.
They're also racist? That's unfortunate.
Probably.
Yeah, the bears do seem mean enough for it.
We have the bears chasing down Shiraishi and the uncle right as the Sirpa and Sugimoto's team find a buried kill. And a Sirpa hops on top of it like, come at me, bears! And, well, there's a bear.
Yeah, and they very quickly notice that the bear has a missing eye. Meanwhile, one kind of through line that we get from Sirpa's uncle and Shiraishi is bears don't like snakes, so you have to throw something that looks like a snake at them.
Quick, take off your belt!
To pause them.
I actually didn't know that, yeah.
This will cause several men to drop their pants. This is a plot point.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't think any of these people are appealing in that way.
Shiraishi, kind of. He's at least in shape.
Yeah.
Fair.
We also have the most American thing Mr. Dunn has ever said, which he doesn't actually say. It's the ranch hand that relays it, because he's like, I once heard Mr. Dunn say that I've killed countless Hokkaido wolves. I'm a part of their extinction. These bears, I must do the same to them, because in the frontier, it's man versus nature. And if we don't crush them under our heel, we have no future.
I killed the wolves with poisoned bait, but the bears are omnivores, so that didn't work.
That is the mindset that led to millions of dead buffalo.
He's very manifest destiny. Like,
the fact that the final part of that little relayed speech is him sitting in an opulent armchair on a wolfskin rug holding the bear claw, surrounded by more hunting trophies.
Hunting trophies and also Ainu relics. So he's clearly he doesn't explicitly state it, but it's very much implied that the extinction he wants doesn't end with wolves.
If imperialism was an image.
Yeah.
But our noble horse saviors go into the barn where they find a blonde man.
I love this. This is so good.
Faces are perfection.
For like a chapter and a half, this turns into a game of werewolf.
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought. Actually, I'm going to be honest, dead ass. I thought at this point, the huge reveal was that these men turn into bears.
Where bear?
Outside.
They're bear.
If that had happened, I'd be like, yep, that sounds about right.
One of them might be qualified as a bear.
Maybe.
We're skipping ahead a little bit. But yeah, so there's a whole, this is the Detective Conan part where there's a whole, wait, whose barn is this? I thought this barn was owned by the American guy.
No, it's my barn. I live here. No, it's my barn. I live here.
It's my barn. I live here. Wait a minute. You and the bowler hat and the facial hair. How the hell did you get in here? I came in through the back door. We need to barricade that too.
Also, why are there severed heads here? That's kind of weird.
Wait a minute. Those severed heads are the people from the horse racing, where they said that if we didn't do the fix, then the Yakuza would kill us.
That is the most Detective Conan part, where it's just like, wait a second, I turned around and now the body's here?
It's the fact that it's specifically the severed heads of the guys that said, we'll be killed if the horse fixing doesn't happen. They've got the kanji for death carved in their foreheads. Like, come on.
No, it's the kanji for 6. Because the horse that they needed to win was 6.
Okay.
I did not get that anyway, but
I haven't played Sekiro in a while.
I know the reveal is kind of obvious, but I did feel kind of good immediately pegging the fact that they were both Yakuza. It's like they're both definitely there to kill them and intruders in this house. The only question is whether they're working together or not, because they seem to be at odds with each other.
Well, it's really funny how they do it, too, is they're essentially like, look, okay, we're going to just have you take off your shirts. We're going to check to see if you have Yakuza tattoos, then we know you're Yakuza. And whoever the Yakuza is has to run outside to get the ammo. Because
there's a whole monster movie sequence of them getting into the house, and it's literally straight out of a like direct to DVD monster flick, like B monster flick of
It's Cocaine Bear.
Oh, wait.
Hey, we got inside the house, paw through window, grabs person violently.
Yes. By the way, this is just the poor ranch hand.
Yeah.
The ranch hands, they get jubbed so hard.
I love the bit where he's just like, wait, hold on, we need to rescue him. And everyone's just like, no, a serpent's just like, nah, just let him go. He's dead weight. The bear's just going to eat you too. He might be a convicted criminal. Oh, he might have a tattoo. We got to rescue him now.
Yep.
And I'm just like, what we've seen of Hokkaido, you would have thought more of these criminals would be eaten by bears. Like,
It is bear country out here. There are, in fact, 3 bears in this one immortal bear.
yeah, and
Bear brothers, you might say.
there's the whole thing where Sugimoto has to take off his belt and then he drops his ammo for his gun and then is back in. And that's where we get back to, hey, we need to send someone out to get the ammo. Well, it's going to be the Yakuza who's here to kill because both of you can't own this house. And then that's when they come up with the plan of take off your shirts. We'll see who has the Yakuza tattoos. And we find out it's the old guy who's got his Yakuza tats. And he's like, well, I'm just going to kill you because I'm old and Yakuza.
So to be clear, they both have Yakuza tattoos.
Well, that's
We
not
don't-
immediately clear.
We don't know that about Bowler Hat yet. Blondie, we do learn that he has Yakuza tattoos. So
And then
he's like,
Blondie says he's the head of the gang. And we
Yeah.
get a fun little bit of like the reason why he had to come in person is because he would have sent underlings to do it. But a bunch of them stopped returning his phone calls when they went to some little Western town.
they went out to some town and then a bunch of them never reported back in. Wow, I wonder what happened. Ichikata soaked in blood.
But that does lead them suspicious of Bowler Hat because they're like, well, the Yakuza boss wouldn't come by himself. And then Bowler Hat's just like, well, I guess I'll remove my shirt. I hope you don't mind my weird hairy nipples. And everyone's just like, there's a child present. Put your shirt back on.
Get your hairy nipples out of here. Weird.
And he's just like, good thing I don't have shoulder tattoos or else they would have seen my giant Yakuza back tattoo.
And
I think at
Blondie-
this point, he's just like, ouch, way to like kill my self-confidence.
No, that's literally what it is. Like he brings that up later that he felt personally attacked by all that.
But now that the way they've established that they're both not Yakuza, they decide the way they're going to decide who runs out is by gambling. And there is a whole explanation of like this dice game. And then it turns out not to matter because we find out that Bowler Hat guy was going to cheat. He's the best dice thrower in the world and has like a secret technique to get any score they want. Except the dice is then rigged so that the bet the Yakuza boss has turns out to be him and he has to go out. And he immediately kicks Bowler Hat in the face going like, you were supposed to rig it in my favor.
I would have rigged it in your favor if you hadn't cheated on me.
Dun dun dun.
What? Honey, I didn't care about him. It was a prostitute. That guy, I didn't love him. Seeing a prostitute's just like going to the bathroom.
Ew.
What?
Everybody's just got this blank expression watching this domestic happen.
Everyone's
It's
just
like, I did not sign up for this. I don't even care. I'm just like, no.
I was
It's going
unprepared.
in the book of grudges.
Ugh.
Well, you still lost the dice game and you admitted to cheating on it. So go get the ammo. Come on, go get the ammo.
God damn it.
So old Yakuza boss grabs both of the heads, throws them out to distract the bears. But if you're doing your math, you'll notice they have 2 Yakuza heads and there are 3 bears. So
So he has to use his belt on the third.
Which reveals that his legs have the Naparabo map tattoo.
but he's already on the other side of a bear that's charging at him, and the like bullets are back to Sugimoto, and he just sees this going like, oh shit, he's got a tattoo.
We need that. But
Well, we need to figure this out. By the way, there was another door and the bear got in.
God damn it, so many bears.
I just love that this manga evolved from the bear being the final boss of the first arc to a bear dies on every page.
Sugimoto gunfights the bear, gets half his face clawed off. and still
Yes.
kills it.
I mean, this was an intense reading, seriously. And honestly, I felt for the bear for like all of 10 seconds.
All I know is a Serpa field dresses that bear so quickly and then proceeds to make bear oil out of that bear to heal Sugimoto's cut without scarring, because we can't scar the protagonist's face more than is already iconic. Fair. And then proceeds to make so much out of the bear. I'm like, but the Yakuza boss is running for his life. Do you no longer care about catching up with him?
The Serpa doesn't, no.
What? But they need the tattoo.
We just have to get to Naparabo, and we don't need the tattoo anymore.
Sugimoto clearly cares more about the tattoo, but
Yep.
Well, yeah, because Sugimoto's a pragmatist. He realizes that that Plan A might not work, which he actually even points out later.
Sugimoto tears down Bowler Hat's pants, just like, do you have the lower leg tattoo? No, you just got a nasty ass. But boss always said I had a nice ass.
Ripping this poor guy.
Just starts slapping his ass. Meanwhile, a Serpa is just like full-on crafting cutscene of like, if I turn the bear into glue, I can make poison arrows from the bear glue. Quick, test out the poison on your tongues. Oh, also you can test it in between your fingers. That's actually much safer, and we probably shouldn't have done the first thing. I now have poison arrows equipped.
Da 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 da.
Hey, Serpa, I found more of those wildflowers you wanted. You idiot! This is Wolfsbane.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's how they get that's how they get the crafting ingredients for the cutscene.
But like,
oh.
I'm not sure how much time is supposed to have passed here, because it seems like all of that work on the bear.
Definitely more than 10 minutes. Let's put it that. It's definitely more than.
It was enough time for one crafting action. No, actually, wait, it was a bunch of crafting actions. I don't know how much time it is.
You know what? They do show that the Yakuza boss has been caught by the bear and buried in a bear mound. So presumably this happens almost overnight, because they don't do full overnight, because that would have taken too long.
Yeah.
But it's like a span of hours, because it's enough time for, we find out, the Yakuza boss.
The Yakuza boss gets up and reappears like a boss. Kicks in the door to Mr. Dunn.
You're an American. You have guns, right?
Well, excuse me. I'm currently doing like a weird psycho thing where I'm currently doing a Buffalo Bill thing where I'm wearing the seal coat that this little girl wants back while completely naked.
Yeah, I was like, excuse me? Did I interrupt something?
Dancing around. La 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 la.
I love how this happens. They never address it again.
Am I interrupting? Good.
You, American, you have a gun. Let's move. All right. Don't worry. I've got my Model T.
He's got his Model T because he's the most American. And by gun, he means a minigun strapped to this Model T. And this looks so... And they're driving through the field after the bear. And then eventually they meet up with a Serpa and all of them, and they hop on the Model T with the minigun, and they're fighting the bear. And a Serpa just goes to Mr. Dunn and goes, wow, you have horseless carriages in your country? What an advancement of technology. And it's almost like the mangaka realized at this point in the chapter, oh, the timelines for when cars exist probably don't make sense. And Mr. Dunn just goes, well, this is on loan from my good friend, Mr. Ford.
It's just a prototype.
Oh, yeah, there's a whole big sequence of them using the spears on the bears to slowly start picking the last two off.
This is speaking of video game nonsense, this is like Assassin's Creed 2, I think, where Leonardo da Vinci builds you a bunch of shit.
Yeah, it really is.
I've built a flying machine.
But Bowler Hat goes for one of the spears, fumbles it. It falls out. He lunges. There's a bump on the road, and he falls out of the car, gets attacked by the bear. Blondie leaps out of the car going, "Princess!" He runs up and starts sword fighting the bear.
Yes.
Chops off it's a really epic sword fight. He cuts the paw in half, then cuts the snout clean off, and the bear decides that's enough and starts running away. And that's when he then shoves the sword up the bear's ass and then goes, congratulations on losing your anal virginity.
He does all of that, but not before the bear rips open his guts.
Yes.
Yeah, the bear gored him during the epic fight, which, like, you know, no joke, it's a really cool fight.
And then we get a long dramatic scene where the two of them are just like, hey, boss, yes, princess, this is going to be the end. At least we can die together and I'll be the last man you ever had. And then boss goes like, you'll be the only man I ever needed. And then they just embrace and die, and there's like a beautiful sunset of their
Demon
dead
Slayer
bodies.
sunset. Demon Slayer sunset.
There's a heart cloud.
Yeah, I see it.
And it's like a beautiful, just like picturesque scene. It's a 2-panel spread, and it's like a very like nice send off to these two characters. And then the very last page you flip over, it's just Sugimoto going like, "Well, let's skin them."
I mean, this is an album cover. It looks like everyone dead ass looking at this super seriously, like, well, time to get the skin.
And thus brings us to the end of our reading. Oh my Lanta. Golden Kamuy. What a manga.
The twists, the turns.
So, favorite character and favorite fight, adventure, Scooby-Doo sequence? God, I don't... I think Asurpa has taken primacy as my favorite character. Because she's great. She is a wonderful balance of serious and funny, and she brings out the most entertaining parts of all the other characters. So I think for this particular reading, Asurpa is my favorite. As for favorite fight, it's gonna be Boss versus the bear.
I mean, come on, is there any other option?
Holy, he gets the backstab critical kill by shoving a sword up its ass. How do you top that?
He's got the great finisher line of "Congrats on losing your anal virginity." That's just.
That's pretty peak.
This manga doesn't deserve to be as good as it is for how crass it is sometimes. Like,
I know, right?
I think it does.
It just doesn't care.
it doesn't need your approval.
Yeah, I love
No,
it.
it does not.
This is the Wild West. No rules.
No rules. We don't have to spend 2 arcs explaining how stupid katana forging works.
Nope.
Oh, Matt, how about you? Favorite character, favorite fight?
I think I will go with favorite character in this. I think Saraishi had some great scenes over the 3 arcs we had. I think he was really funny. He had some great. He really moved the plot forward, even if it's kind of at his expense. And really, just the whole horse gambling aspect of him was hilarious.
Yeah.
That being said, if I have to go favorite fight, I am remiss if I don't mention my favorite fight in possibly anything we've ever read. Ushiyama versus the hotel. Because he's fighting this hotel because he wants to make love to a woman. He wants to make love to a person.
I mean, at some points, it was the hotel who was doing the cock blocking here.
Really, the hotel was just getting in the way.
Yep.
He then took the full brunt of the whole hotel to save Inaga's life.
I think they can make it work.
I'm mildly concerned.
I'm mildly concerned. It doesn't come off as entirely like 50-50 consensual.
My assumption is when we see Inaga, they have a arm and a cast. I assume that's from the coitus.
What I think about that.
Anyway, Jay, favorite character, favorite fight?
I don't know if I could pick one. All the good ones are already like taken. So for this one, I'm gonna have to side with Shiraishi. Just perfect comedic relief, specifically when they were doing the horse race gambling nonsense. Favorite fight, I'm gonna have to agree with Sam and the boss versus the bear because holy shit, that was an epic series of shots.
Mm-hmm.
Made me want to like honestly flag a trigger warning: bear violence.
And Jacob.
The best character was Hijikata. I mean, come on. Like he's the coolest freaking character in the entire series. Oh, gun samurai old man posed up so unnecessarily, but it's so fucking cool.
It is insane that Hijikata is almost an afterthought after what happened with the bears at the ranch.
The freaking Winchester flip. He got to clown on a bunch of guys with his sword.
3 bears brutalizing case Ram Ranch.
God damn it.
No, you're right. Hijikata, God.
So cool, man. And then favorite fight. In all honesty, a part of me wants to say the big Serge Leone gun battle in the town, because like the like explanation of fire maneuver was cool to see. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I think my number one has got to be like everybody versus the 3 bears when they're in the like barn, because I love monster movies. Like, if you're gonna show me horror, give me a fun monster, right? And that is just absolutely like, that's like Tremors or like some kind of like B, you know, abandoned town or like small town gets sequestered and some wacky monster starts picking people off. Just peak.
All right. We didn't have too much Ainu culture discussed in this one compared to previous readings, but of the ones that we did get, what was your favorite Ainu custom that was learned? I don't know of its veracity, but I did like the fortune telling.
I also really like the fortune telling, and it seemed like that is accurate. It's just a Serpa doesn't believe in it.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the nature of a Serpa being the main vehicle of the cultural exchange. If she doesn't care for or believe in a particular part of Ainu culture, then it's going to be
dubious
to the reader.
Ooh, Sam, what about testing the poison for their weapons on their tongue by tying off their tongue and then scraping off the parts of their tongue that start burning?
That was really good.
And then you could actually just test it in between like your finger webbing. You didn't have to do all that.
And that made it even funnier.
I think for me, it was probably a Serpa's amazing seal clubbing technique.
Yes, fantastic.
Excellent form.
For me, it would definitely have to be that. So, as traumatic as it was, the nails in the bucket.
Poor Foxo. It was cool.
All right. And the penultimate the ultimate question, would you continue reading? Resounding yes from me. Holy, I don't know how this manga continues to top itself.
It just keeps doubling down.
It did.
Yeah.
How did it get nuttier from the Scooby-Doo haunted mansion, from the Old West gunfight, from the bear fight, and then like you look back at the rest of what we've read and you're like,
how did we get here?
It's only been escalating.
It's always been like this.
I do. The last arc we read did have an American and a Yakuza drive out of nowhere on a Model T so they could minigun a bear to death. Like,
yeah.
Golden Kamuy, folks.
Golden Kamuy really needs to be more popular than it is.
It really does.
It's really a shame.
Yeah, no, I definitely continue reading. I think I'd still keep it in a like I want to do more episodes for the podcast. Just because you know, it's not necessarily my genre. I'm not always feeling the Western vibes, but man, I love doing episodes on it because I mean, like, reading it is great and discussing it is great too. Like, I freaking love doing the Golden Kamuy episodes.
It's fantastic. All right, Matt, how about you? Would you continue reading?
Oh, 100%. The last chapter of our reading, chapter 69, nice, is like probably one of the best chapters of anything we've read. Like, hands down. The last chapter we read was better than the entirety of Kagurabachi.
NJ.
Absolutely. I don't know if I'll be able to restrain myself.
I imagine you're already approaching chapter 100 right now.
Shush.
Okay, Jay is currently reading more Golden Kamuy, understood, as is standard.
And thank you, everybody, once again for tuning into the Over Manga Cast. As always, you can find us on all of your social medias, or we are at Over Manga Cast.
You can also find us on YouTube, where you can like, comment, and subscribe. The episodes go up there on a 2-week delay, so if you want to see our up-to-date episodes, head over to overmangacast.com, which even has a way that you can comment on episodes there. Tell us to read more Golden Kamuy. We will absolutely fulfill that request, and also any other request that you give us. We pretty much will do anything that we can that you suggest.
We've read so much 100 Girlfriends. Really, we have no limit to what we'll read.
The bar is that low.
And as always, we appreciate reviews in any and all form. You can reach out to us over mangacast@gmail.com. I also think we have a YouTube channel that occasionally gets videos uploaded to it. 2-week delay, maybe? I don't know. But, that really puts us on a little bit of a thing because, Sam, what are we reading next week?
Next week, we're going to be reading Locker Room. It's a one-shot, so it should be pretty easy for you. No chapter list to keep in your head. If you're keeping up with the show, then we'll read that and see you all next Thursday.
It's also by Yuto Suzuki, the creator of Sakamoto Days, something we've read at one point on this podcast, and we have been requested to go back to it, so it's on the list somewhere.
We're going to get more taste of the mangaka's work. And we'll see you all next Thursday. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, cowpoke. Go off into that deep sunset, embracing your gay lover, as you hone yourself on a minigun and take out any bear in your way.
All right,
God bless America.
All right, I've got the knife. Let's get skinning.
Grizzle, grizzle.